Market Musings, the Vero Beach edition, part 2. I'm a total data nerd for all you guys that know me, and some very interesting statistics jumped out at me when I was reviewing market analysis for the past 30, 60, 90 days. Number one, inventory is down. Yes, you heard that correctly. Inventory for detached single-family houses on our island is down to 171 units. And at one point, we had crawled up as high as 250. That's a noticeable decline. And now we're still 50% under where we were pre-pandemic. We never got back to pre-pandemic levels, and now we're crawling down. So what's up with that? The question is it a temporary, well, it's summer in Florida, let's take it off and try it again in the fall? Perhaps. That's definitely a common strategy in our market where there's some seasonality. But I do think, as many have called it, the great withdrawal, I do think a strong proportion of those sellers have said, we tried, we don't like the number, with what we're going to sell for, marking to market. Where are we really going to go that we think this really makes sense? So I think that's a really important part of it. So again, hyper-local, our inventory is the lowest point that it's been really since like of November 2020. Let that sink in. So that's a really interesting stat. So inventory down. Number two, I have always looked at the difference between, or the delta between, new listings coming on, theoretically priced correctly for current market conditions, and the average listing price of all of the listing, even including those that have been on the market for a while, maybe that came on not priced correctly. So the delta between those two often is illustrative of sellers going, we understand there's a difference and we need to get our price right. So earlier this year, the difference between new listings coming on and the average of all listings at one point was $500,000-$600,000 different. That's a very big delta of new sellers coming on and saying, we understand where we need to be. Guess what? It's completely evaporated. Now there is like a $5,000, so zero difference between new listings coming on, an average of 1.995, and an average of 2 million for the whole cohort of listings. So the delta is gone. What does that mean? It means sellers are coming on more confident in their price and what their offering is compared to earlier parts of the year where it was decidedly a much lower number. So what does that mean? Well, the question is, are buyers going to buy it and say, okay, we agree with you? Time will tell if these sellers coming on now at a much stronger price are going to be able to get their number. The other stat that I love to look at is, because it's forward-looking, how many of you sellers are reducing in order to try to sell? Historically, nationally and in Vero, it's usually 30 to 35% people, sellers, make a price reduction and say, okay, we didn't get our price right, our invitation isn't being received, we need to reposition our price in order to introduce our home to a wider pool of buyers and get sold. Okay? Historically, that's around 30, 35%. Earlier in the year, like back in April, it was up to 54%. Everyone was going, whoa, clearly we didn't get it right. Now, guess what? It's back to normal levels. It's 31% again. So what does that mean? Well, it means that sellers that are on the market have confidence in their pricing and they're not feeling compelled to sell. Whether they're going to wait for the market to come back and hold firm for their price, or maybe they're going to wait till the fall, and if they haven't had any action, maybe they'll reduce. But for now, they're not reducing. And maybe this stat is a reflection of a whole cohort of sellers, instead of reducing, withdrawing, which we just talked about. So they're voting with their feet, and instead of reducing to a number they may find unpalatable, they are withdrawing. So less people on the market are feeling compelled to reposition price. So what does that really mean? I think it could spell opportunity, whether you're a buyer or a seller. If there's less sales activity, Clearly, that's good for a buyer, whether you're going to pursue an inventory spec house like we talked about, or a seller that's still on the market. Because if you're still on the market, you want to sell. So clearly, there's opportunity for buyers. That's obvious. But maybe the not so obvious is the opportunity it could convey for you as a seller. I've got clients that have a house in a lovely gated community and they took it off for the summer and we're going to think about price in the fall. So they're in that cohort where they're going to come back on. Guess what? Right now in their neighborhood, when we were on, there were 4 or 5 other homes that they were competing against. Guess how many are on the market now? 0. If they went on the market now, they would be the only game in town. So a reduction in inventory can spell opportunity for you as a seller. So it's all about timing, and it's impossible to time a market. I know that. But stealthily looking at your sector of the market with your trusted real estate advisor, or call me and I'll go through the analysis with you. Where would your likely buyer be looking in addition to your neighborhood? And what's that competition landscape like? And if it is thin, like it is in many of our communities, it might be the time, and it might seem counterintuitive. I know it's summer, but it's all about competition, supply and demand. And if there's no supply, it makes you a stronger offering in the market. So those are my takes. Inventory's down, reductions of price are way down, and in general, supply is very thin. So what I would say is, if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling, revisit it with your trusted real estate advisor or give me a call. I'm Sally Daley from the Daley Group at Douglas Elliman, and I would be delighted to give you my advice. Sell, wait, hold, based on your circumstance and what's right for you.